I am a student at Dundee and Angus College, and for my chosen course, Zoo Animal Behaviour and Welfare, I have put together this short documentary. I chose the Hyacinth macaws to research while I was at the Camperdown Wildlife Centre, and will discuss this in more detail in this documentary. All zoos and wildlife centres internationally use the 5 freedoms. The 5 freedoms were created for farm animals, which was originally called the Bramble Report. This included 5 musts to ensure animals were treated correctly. These were the ability to lie down, to stretch their limbs, to stand up and to turn around, to be able to groom themselves. This system evolved over the years and does not just cover farm animals. It is extremely important as the 5 freedoms are the basis of all wildlife and zoo welfare legislation. Without following these, they would not be allowed to remain open. The 5 freedoms we have expanded on are now freedom from hunger and thirst, freedom from discomfort, freedom from pain, injury or diseases, freedom to express normal behaviour, freedom from fear and distress. Any zoo, safari park, wildlife centre, butterfly houses and aquariums must be inspected and licensed under an Act called Zoo Licensing Act 1981. This ensures that animals are kept in correct enclosures, meet the needs of the animals and allows the animals to express their normal behaviour. Each year they will be inspected at least once. This Act also covers the transportation of animals to ensure the least amount of distress. There is also the Dangerous Wild Animals Act. This was put in place to protect people rather than animals. They do not need to be licensed under this Act. It is only in place to protect people against animals who are considered dangerous. BIAZA, IAZA and WAZA. These are all professional bodies who provide the highest class of animal welfare education and conservation work, and work to a much higher standard than zoos. They have over 100 zoo and aquarium members and are involved in over 1,400 projects, including ones of undergraduates. Here are some of the things that these fantastic organisations do. BIAZA, the British and Irish Association of Zoos and Aquariums. They deliver over 1 million educational workshops on site for kids and students alike. They have contributed a staggering $24 million a year to conservation projects, and they have over 30 million people visiting collections run by BIAZA every single year. Then we have IAZA, European Association of Zoos and Aquaria. They offer zoo and aquarium professional training, welfare-based workshops. They also help with the development of the framework, European Zookeeper qualification, and provide evidence-based animal welfare research. Then finally, WAZA, World Association of Zoos and Aquariums. They work together with other leading organisations like IAZA and BIAZA and tackle issues like illegal wildlife trade, marine littering, and the restoration of the coral reef. To maintain these welfare standards, the roles of the keeper have to be adhered to meticulously. This is to ensure that animals receive the best care possible. During my research, I looked at several job descriptions of those in the animal care field, and some of these were included: keeping animal enclosures clean, germ-free and safely secured, preparing food, observing animals for signs of distress or ill health, maintaining the animal's enrichment, working alongside other professionals such as vets and animal researchers, keeping up to date with legislation and knowledge regarding the animals you care for, keeping detailed records of behaviours, eating habits, deaths and medication given, being knowledgeable and also keeping stud books and systems such as ZIM. This keeps a catalogue of animals' details, what collection they belong to and where they were born. Staff at zoos and veterinary practices can also access this information.
It should be in ensuring 5 freedoms are met. Attaining to your role as zookeeper is paramount. Whilst attending Camperdown Zoo every week, I monitored over time what I felt were good and pure welfare standards. I did this by looking at all the enclosures, looking at other zoos and comparing and noting if I felt something could be improved. I also chatted with the keepers about what they have to do daily, especially for the species I chose to monitor. Good welfare standards that I noted were enclosures kept safe and clean within reason, staff to be knowledgeable and up to date with current legislation, monitoring of animals to ensure they're well, stud books kept up to date. Welfare standards. Please note none of these were seen at my time in Camperdown. Unkempt enclosures, lack of veterinary treatment, badly fought out groups which puts the animals in danger.
Whilst at Curren Zoo, I chose to research and monitor the Hyacinth macaw. These tropical birds' conservation status is endangered. They are the largest parrots and macaw species in the world, and are identifiable by their stunning blue and yellow feathers and very strong beak. These birds often travel together in flocks of up to 8 pairs. Once a macaw has found its partner, it will remain forever bonded in its pairing. The Hyacinth macaw is vocally very loud, so it's not the ideal house pet if you have neighbours. They will screech loudly and can mimic vocals from humans. They are very inquisitive birds, and during my time at Camperdown Wildlife Centre, they made excellent candidates to research, as they were always out and could be seen often to monitor. They can also reach a staggering speed of 35 miles per hour. The macaw's diet is made up of a variation of nuts and fruit. This is also the case in the wild. Coconuts, Brazil nuts, macadamia nuts. These are just some that they eat. Their main source of nutrition comes from macadamia nuts, as they need more carbohydrates than any other parrot species. In captivity, they can also be supplemented on species-specific pellets. I observed how the Hyacinth macaws at Camperdown were fed and how it reflected how they would feed in the wild. I spoke with one of the keepers during a feed, and he showed me variations of how they are fed. He hand-fed their favourites and the nuts, which included the most nutrition. This was done to ensure they were getting the same amount. Scattering of the nuts and seeds was also another method they would use. They did this with the seeds and fruit that had a lower nutritional value, and this then gave the macaw the opportunity to forage for the food, and this also stimulated them mentally. Food such as fruits were placed on the bird table instead of on the ground, so that it would not entice unwanted visitors such as rats and mice, which in turn could cause an outbreak in the enclosure. The presentation of the food does mimic that of the wild in the way of the scattering, so the macaws have to forage, but hand feeding and placement of food on the bird table would not. After researching how they obtain their food in the wild, I think it would be beneficial for them to have things hanging from the trees to mimic their habitat.
As part of our course, we had to create an enrichment to go into the enclosure of the species we chose to observe, the macaws. We have been working with the joiners at our Grove campus. We presented them with our idea, a sketch we had drawn up, and we then brainstormed ideas to one another of what materials they would need. Our idea was a large wooden wheel which would attach onto the tree in the bird's enclosure. It would also have a perch for them to sit and coconuts attached. They would be filled with food to stimulate them mentally. There was a large wooden circle that was ready-made in the joinery department. We first took all the metal poles that were attached to it away and drilled the two circles together to make it more durable. We quickly identified there was a problem with making the wheel spin, as we couldn't find big enough bearings. We were also concerned that the small pieces would be a choking hazard to the birds. We then decided to go with a large wooden pole. We fitted it onto a bracket and used a large silver washer on the back and a small wooden dowel for the rest of the pole, so that it spins. Our next dilemma came when we went to get coconuts to attach them to our wheel. As it's November time, the shops we tried did not have any in stock. We then decided to use small blocks of wood and drill large holes through and fit them onto the wooden circle. The holes would then be filled with nuts or fruit for the macaws. During this part of the enrichment building, we had to replace the nails that we were using as it was splitting the wood. Instead of using 2 nails, we opted for just one, which we pre-drilled a hole for prior to attaching.
Whilst at Camperdown Wildlife Centre, each week we would carry out an ecogram. We recorded different behaviour seen in the Hyacinth macaws and provided a hypothesis and conclusion at the end of our findings, before and after the enrichment had been introduced. Climbing and playing will all increase. This is because the enrichment is high up, therefore the birds would need to climb to access it.
Playing behaviour will increase the most because they will be playing and interacting with the enrichment as it is a new feature in their enclosure. Vocalisation will be another behaviour likely to see an increase in occurrences. This is because the birds show more vocalisation when they are interacting with one another and playing. Resting behaviour will decrease the most as they will be busy interacting with the enrichment and therefore they will be more mentally stimulated. Our conclusion was that after the enrichment was introduced, vocalisation increased by an average occurrence of 6.5. The behaviour climbing also increased the most by 12.5 occurrences. Playing did increase, however only by 3.5 average occurrences. The hypothesis prediction that this would be the largest increase was therefore incorrect. Resting behaviour did increase by 5.5 average occurrences, which was predicted in the hypothesis. The female Hyacinth Macaw Sky did not interact with the enrichment as much as the male navy. This was observed on several ethograms and noted by zookeeping staff. I was required to complete a welfare sheet each week that I visited Camperdown Wildlife Centre, recording welfare of the animals in the enclosure and ensuring their basic needs are met. From the data collected, we could see the welfare of the animals at Camperdown is of a high standard. Whilst researching animals' welfare in zoos, I learned about the impact that being raised in captivity can have on zoo animals. Although it has its benefits such as breeding programs, especially for those animals who are facing threat of extinction, it also allows zoos to carry out research on the animals to educate and raise awareness. However, the downside of captivity is that many animals become reliant on the zookeepers and start to show uncharacteristic behaviours that would not be seen in the wild. These include feeding anticipation. They will expect to be fed at certain times and they also develop pacing behaviour as they wait for their food. The instinct to hunt will very much phase out over time. Housing animals alone, causing stress and depression as they are lonely and used to being in herds or family groups. Pacing. Animals such as lions and tigers who are used to hunting will often stop this behaviour and replace it with pacing due to not being stimulated as they are given their food and don't have to work for it, which would be a natural behaviour seen in the wild. Become complacent. Animals can often become much calmer and better natured if hand-reared as opposed to those in the wild. This can then make them become quite complacent and they may struggle to mate or to defend themselves when in with others of the same species. Over-grooming. Animals that are under stress and anxiety may start to over-groom. Hyacinth macaws and a lot of other captive birds can often overpluck themselves and injure themselves in captivity. These animals are also very sociable, so when not housed with another they will often display uncharacteristic behaviours such as aggressiveness, vocally screaming and restlessness, as opposed to those kept in pairs. If kept alone, the macaw will also not learn how to mate or interact with another of the same species. Macaws are usually always bonded to a lifelong partner, so when that opportunity is not given, it will cause abnormal behaviours. So what can we do to prevent this? Limited human involvement. Intervening only when necessary. Finding foster animals of the same species for young rather than hand feeding. More enrichment to help mentally stimulate the animals. Larger enclosures. And foraging behaviours encouraged. Limited human involvement is a method employed to prevent. Zoos will and should only intervene when necessary, so it keeps the animal's natural instincts and behaviour as close to those seen in the wild as possible. If an animal is only a baby and needs nursing, the zoo often attempt to find a foster animal in the same species from another zoo for the baby to be nurtured to keep the behaviour seen in the wild as close to that in captivity. Another method is more enrichment and mental stimulation to prevent boredom if the opportunity to hunt is removed. Larger enclosures and housed in family groups where possible to help gain a social structure and so they can mimic social behaviours from one another as opposed to be housed alone. Offering opportunities for hunting, like situations, even though it is against the law to give wild prey to captive animals by hiding their food to encourage foraging, is another way to prevent stress and uncharacteristic behaviours. Here is some footage of the 3 otters, Pebbles, Flo and Brian, at Camperdown Wildlife Centre. They are exhibiting feeding anticipation. This is how they acted when they seen the green truck which the zookeepers were driving. Although pre-feeding anticipation behaviour does not harm these animals, they will show vocalisation and anticipation whilst waiting for their food. The otter team have chosen to focus on this behaviour with their enrichment project and have produced a foraging box for them to find their food. Thank you for taking your time to watch my documentary, and a special thanks to